Have you ever stopped to think about how you can feel the absolute lightest touch, like a feather brushing your skin, but also the intense, searing heat from a flame? Well, today, we're exploring the two incredible and totally different information highways inside your nervous system that make it all happen.
I mean, on the surface, it seems pretty simple, right? You just feel it. But underneath all that, your brain is making a super critical distinction. So how does it do it? It's all thanks to two completely separate pathways, two highways for information, each with its own special job, running all the way from your body up to your brain.
Okay, so before we really hit the road, let's get our terms straight. These highways we're talking about are made of something called nerve tracts. And all that really means is a big bundle of biological wires, these things called axons, that travel together. Just imagine a massive data cable carrying signals up and down your spinal cord. That's a nerve tract.
Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. Your nervous system doesn't just have one type of highway. It actually has two major and kind of competing systems for sensation. I want you to think of one as a sleek, modern, high-speed expressway, and the other as a more ancient, kind of winding dirt road.
So let's compare them. On one hand, you've got the expressway. This thing is built for pure speed and precision. It uses heavily insulated nerves to deliver these crystal-clear, high-fidelity signals. It's like the fiber optic cable of your nervous system. Then you've got the dirt road. As you can see, it's slower. It handles the rougher, more crude signals with a lot less insulation, and as we're about to find out, each one has a very, very specific and vital job to do.
All right, let's start with the modern marvel, the expressway. The scientific name for it is the dorsal column system. And this is the pathway for all your most refined, detailed, and delicate sensations.
The kind of traffic you'll find on this highway is all about accuracy. It's carrying signals for a very specific, light touch, a sense of vibration, and it even lets you know exactly where your arms and legs are without you even looking. That sense is called proprioception. This is the system that lets you tell the difference between two separate pinpricks, even when they're super close together. Pretty amazing. But here's what's so unique and kind of weird about the expressway's route. When a signal gets into the spinal cord, it doesn't cross over to the other side. Not at all. Instead, it shoots straight up on the exact same side it entered. It's a non-stop trip. Only when it gets way up high in the brainstem does it finally cross over to the opposite side of the brain.
And this little detail explains exactly why this system is so precise. Because those signals stay perfectly organized, almost like they're in their own lanes on the highway, all the way up, your brain knows precisely where that sensation came from. It's this line and lane principle at work.
Okay, now let's switch gears and head over to the dirt road. We're going to see how this pathway builds a completely different, but just as vital sensory picture for us. This is the anterolateral system.
The traffic on this road is much more varied and, well, let's just say a lot more primitive. This is the pathway that carries all the raw, visceral stuff: pain, changes in temperature, a crude or general sense of touch, plus things like an itch, a tickle, and even sexual sensations. It's a much broader, more emotional range of feelings.
And right here, this is the single biggest difference. Unlike the expressway, a signal on the dirt road crosses over to the opposite side immediately, like the second it gets into the spinal cord. It then travels all the way up to the brain on that opposite or contralateral side. And trust me, this immediate crossover changes everything.
So let's use this whole two-highway model to understand one of the most powerful feelings we have: pain. Because as it turns out, pain isn't just one simple signal. It's way more complicated than that.
Pain actually travels in two completely separate waves, and it uses two different types of nerve fibers on that dirt road. First, you get fast pain. That's the sharp, easy-to-locate pinprick feeling that hits you in like a tenth of a second. But then, it's followed by slow pain. That's the dull, burning, hard-to-pinpoint ache that only sets in a second or more later.
And you've definitely felt this before, right? Think about stubbing your toe. What happens? First, there's that instant, sharp, ouch! That's your fast pain signal firing. But then, a moment later, that deep, throbbing ache starts to set in and just spreads. That's the slow pain finally arriving at the party.
So, why is that second wave of pain so much more than just a sensation, Why does it feel so emotionally draining, so physically awful? What is going on there?
Well, it's all about the detours. As that slow pain signal is chugging along the dirt road, it doesn't just stay in its lane.
It's sending out copies of its message to all these other critical parts of the brain. It alerts the reticular formation, which is basically your brain's alarm system, jolting you awake and forcing you to pay attention. It pings your limbic system, your brain's emotion center, and that's what makes you feel anxious and just plain bad. And it triggers the insular cortex, causing those awful physical reactions like sweating or feeling nauseous.
Okay, so we've got these two totally separate highways, the expressway and the dirt road. How on earth do they work together to create your single, seamless experience of the world around you?
Let's just boil it all down. The expressway is fast, it's precise, and its main job is to tell your brain what happened and where it happened. The dirt road, on the other hand, is slower, more primitive, and it's basically shouting at your brain, hey, this is a warning, and this is how it feels.
So, at the end of the day, your sense of the world isn't just one thing. It's a blend. It's this incredible symphony of high-fidelity data arriving on the expressway, all mixed together with the raw, emotional, and protective warnings that are coming from the dirt road.
So we'll leave you with this thought. Now that you know about these two highways, see if you can actually feel them in action. The next time you get a paper cut or, stub your toe, just take a second. Try to notice that first, sharp, localized signal, and then feel that slower, broader, more emotional wave that comes right after it. That's your nervous system's two highways,